Portland, Oregon, the venue, a very intimate gathering, a sold-out stadium in the United States and Costa Rica, still looking for their first goal, and the first goal will be increasingly be a larger one, Seamus, as we look towards the second half.
Well, the U.S. did get some early dominance as we look at the keys to victory, and they did effectively prevent the counterattacks. Costa Rica, maybe not as physical as we thought, but they certainly established their presence physically by some good tackling and also by just covering down a lot of spaces. They have not had their speed and counterattacks work to their advantage, primarily because the U.S. has gotten in there and made those good midfield tackles. And this is what I'm talking about. These areas here and over here are where Costa Rica are at their most dangerous, because they play their releases out to them from here and out to there, and that can sprint the counterattack. But Stewart and Agus have been very good at closing down those spaces. The U.S. has got to get into spaces in here and around here. That's where they've shown they're dangerous, so dangerous in the first half, and where they need to do more of it.
Tab Ramos back in the starting lineup today, as we said. 17 touches for Tab, 4 opportunities created off of that. Reyna much more around the ball today, and also much more challenging and going in on challenges and tackles, it seems.
Yeah, he has been very good at trying to win the ball early and start the attack, but he's also been very good at supporting players wide when they've tried to stop the counterattack.
Campos came on as a substitute, 6 touches and 1 good opportunity. Gomez, the number 11 player, very dangerous with 8 touches. No lineup changes either way. We at ABC Sports would like to thank MasterCard, Anheuser-Busch, Canon, Nike, and National Car Rental for bringing you today's match commercial-free. This portion of today's match is brought to you by MasterCard. The U.S. in white, Costa Rica in red. Ernie Stewart flew in to train for this match from the Netherlands. Austin Berry, the left back. There's Campos, Justine Campos, his first half substitute. Ronald Gomez, challenged by Sorber, slips it inside. Balboa touching and Pope clearing. Right on to Guijan, number 8, putting it wide for Costa Rica as they build something here with Wallace, a low ball. Dooley puts it out. Again, you see slipping and sliding. The whistle.
Foul given there for in favor of the United States. Well, Costa Rica, I think, will still do the same thing. Bob, they'll still try to defend and look for a break or two. And the U.S. has got to be patient in some ways. They've got to be sure that they don't let the blood rush to their heads and start taking gambles.
Ty Keogh, with this footing, what adjustments have been made?
Speaking to Hugh O'Malley, the equipment manager for the U.S. team, he said most of the players on the field have changed into the 6 studded boots, so they've made the adjustment. Hopefully it'll improve their footing.
We play on. Reyna on the ball, lifting it wide right for Stewart. A U.S. player down, crossing in front, looking for Wegerle. Roy Lassiter down, getting attention. Surprise starter today when Eric Winalda was pulled from the starting lineup about 20 minutes before kickoff.
Well, take a look at the injury here as he battles for the ball, and eventually he looks like he wins it, but then he gets hit just as he's coming away with it from the player who was down on the ground. I think that was Marine. Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Marine. It was the number 3 player, Austin Berry. But I'll tell you, Roy Lassiter will not want to come out of this game. He desperately wanted to get a start, was crushed when he wasn't getting the start initially, then got a last-minute reprieve, and he was hungry to score, but he's got to be a little bit patient, too.
Wegerle turns the ball. That is deflected out for the corner kick now for the United States. Their 5th. Wegerle called into camp on Thursday, his first appearance for the U.S. team in nearly 2 years. Dooley moves up.
And Pope.
6, and Pope's
wide open.
Headed out. Stewart challenged. Reyna now. Ramos, all sorts of room to the corner. Trying to cross it in front. And it's just skittering wide.
Eddie Pope right on the doorstep to get that across, and Wegerle just could not react to it. Look at this ball skimming now. Here's Pope with a quick run, and there's no chance for Wegerle to get to it. And to give Costa Rican defenders credit, 3 of them were there shepherding that ball out of play. But a slightly stronger touch by this guy, Eddie Pope, and that would have been 1-0.
Pope has 3 shots. The U.S. has 7, so Eddie Pope the most shots of any U.S. player today. And he will just lie back quietly and suddenly become lethal. You saw the header attempt on the set piece in the first half.
There goes Jeff Agus again, breaking it up. I must say, I'm just a little puzzled about this tactic from midfield of launching these long balls forward for either Wegerle or Lassiter. Don't strike me the kind of players who can deal well with that.
Gomez with a booming left foot that duly deflected. Stewart in the air, couldn't win it. Berry will throw it in to Gomez. Very dangerous player, watched by Pope. And a U.S. throw-in.
One of the hopes for the long ball approach, as we look at Ernie Stewart, Bob, is that, again, Costa Rica will have committed so many players into the midfield that if you go right over the top, you've got a chance to get in behind them. But if they've left too many men back there, then even if you get in behind them, you're outnumbered.
Steve Sampson talking to the 4th official. There are Costa Rican water bottles near the touchline. He wants them moved back. Well, you saw Wegerle lose his footing. Marvelous venue. You can't say the same for this pitch. It looks nice, but if you can't keep your footing, what's the purpose? Offside lead for Medford. They spent $100,000 putting this field down, and I think they've got to do a little bit more work on keeping the moisture out of it.
Bob, you and Seamus were talking a moment ago about the high balls that the U.S. is using, and Steve Sampson stated that he thought one of the keys to the game for the U.S. would be their ability to dominate in the air, but that's not really been the case. The Costa Ricans have been very effective in minimizing the ability of the U.S. team to use their superior height.
Well, throwing now down the left side for Jeff Agus. Now the U.S. team as Reyna moves up into the box and makes a run to show for the ball. There's Wegerle. One there by Madrigal.
Again, that early release, you see where that ball was played. It was played right into this zone. That's exactly what they try to do in these counters. They hope to get the ball wide and start a counterattack from there.
Monday Night Football action. Kansas City and Oakland. Marcus Allen needing less than 300 yards to become the 6th player in history with 12,000 rushing yards. Jeff George at the helm of the Raiders. KC and Oakland. ABC's Monday Night Football. Monday night at 9 Eastern time. Oh, Sorber from a prone position. Able to play it back.
A risky decision by Mike Sorber to dribble across the defense there with little in the way of supporting U.S. players in the immediate area.
Gomez back to Myers, challenged by Reyna and Ramos as Dooley comes up, played wide. This is Wallace, can be a very creative defender on the offensive end, playing it wide now for Guigen, number 8. He's watched by Dooley. Medford slips, and Stewart has it. Now this footing is definitely a factor in this match.
There's that ongoing battle. Wegerle this time pushed from behind.
Madrigal.
Yep.
Reyna quickly looking for Lassiter.
Yeah, well, I still am not convinced about that tactic. Lassiter has to win that ball in the air. That's not always the best part of his game in my view. And then he's still got 2 players in front of him for Costa Rica to beat. Ooh, almost a steal there by Ramos.
Yeah. Austin Berry, number 3, tries the through ball. Tackle away, Dooley getting it away from Gomez. Brought down by Lassiter. Reyna with a little bit of space, and now more as he eludes the tackle. Jeff Agus with 2 mates in the box. Back on it now. He's got Reyna wide left and pushed back to Goose. Claudio in the corner. Cuts it back to his right foot. Right in front. Mauricio Wright put it out. Challenged there by Balboa. The whistle and a foul against the U.S.
Well, Balboa, again, we might say with a tactical foul there. Reaching in to try to win it. Might have won it. But what he's chiefly trying to do is to stop counterattacks. He was one-on-one out there, and he could not let that player get away from him.
Steve Sampson talked in our pregame about that killer instinct, about that domination. Right now, we're not seeing that.
No, I think you're right. And you feel the sort of a sense that if the U.S. got the goal, that they might indeed have others flow, because Costa Rica will then have to pull more players out from the back. But at the moment, the finishing is what's letting them down.
Balboa, lots of room. Agus to his left, Ramos to his right. Agus. That's still in as Barry chases with Stewart.
Well, the flank play is a bit predictable now. You saw Agus predictable in that they're getting the ball wide, they're making the runs, but they're not getting penetration into the penalty area very much. It's just long balls across, and that becomes a bit too obvious after a while.
Gomez out of his area. Myers on the ball, number 10. Medford ahead of him, number 9, cutting to the right. Through ball. Onside. Gomez the cross. No, the flag up across the way. The flag across the way.
Yeah. I thought that was very definitely an offside. The player running through left before the ball was played to him, and when the ball was played through, he had gone past it. You see him now. He's about to get the ball. Here's the ball in here. And look at already, he is behind the defender. You can see very clearly. Now we let it go forward. And here's the other player coming through. There's the touch. And there he has gone through behind it. So there were two players there. But the second one was the one that was called, I think, because the first player managed to get out of the play.
Third offside against Costa Rica. Roy Lassiter has both offside infractions for the U.S. This portion of today's match is brought to you commercial-free by Budweiser. Dooley with a left foot for Reyna. He's got Wegerle there with him. It's past Ramos. Wegerle. There's Pope, ever dangerous, right onto Lonis. His 4th shot of the day.
Oh, dear. What an unfortunate decision by Pope. Lassiter that time had gotten himself away from his defender, was wide open in front.
The U.S., though, showing some fluidity now, looking to establish that dominance they talked about in what is virtually a must-win game. And look at that control on the ball by Ramos, his trademark. Now the low cross. Challenged by Lassiter in the box. He commits the foul.
Well, that's the kind of play we like to see from Tab Ramos, with the exception of the cross, which was not the kind of quality he wanted. But Lassiter tried to make something of it with a tough challenge. But Tab Ramos did very well, first of all, in intercepting the ball. He stepped up nicely, won it, beat a couple of people nicely, and was not able to put in the cross that would have turned into a goal.
Campos challenged by Sorber and fouled by Sorber. Well, Steve Sampson had talked about making a change. Sorber certainly would not be one of those, but he has yet to do so, as Medford won that and lifted on by Roy Myers wide to the left of Casey Keller.
I don't know about Mike Sorber. I've been watching him the last couple of minutes, and maybe Steve Sampson might have a thought or two about Sorber. He's I don't know, he's been missing a pace or two. You have to make some late tackles. You have to make some fouls. He does a lot of work in that defensive midfield role. It's pretty exhausting.
Another long goal kick by Keller, flicked on by Wegerle to Reyna, who holds it very nicely in heavy traffic and plays it back to Sorber. Now Agus.
Well, the whole Costa Rican team, though, is camping in its own half, just waiting for the U.S. to come into that half. And
wanting
see
a
them,
point.
all those red shirts there.
Playing for the draw. Balboa pushes up. He pushes it to the corner. Reyna now. Wallace on him. In front, looking for Wegerle, put away by Barry, or rather Marine.
Bob and Seamus, that last ball, pretty typical of what has happened for the USA as of late. They've started to find some space in the attack, but the final pass or the final shot, like Eddie Pope a moment ago, and even by like Tab Ramos a moment ago when he got around the corner, the final ball has not been good enough.
Campos takes it back from Stewart, with everyone back defensively for the Ticos. Roy Myers on the ball, tried the through ball to Gomez. Dooley comes forward, makes a commitment, he pushes up. Dooley moves up, Wegerle in the midfield.
Well, What an important play by Dooley there, stepping up. Dooley is still up front. This is Dooley up here. He's supposed to be a defender.
Well, sometimes a man's got to do what a man's got to do, and the U.S. needs something moving on attack here. Ernie Stewart for Eddie Pope wide. Far post. Goose runs on, touches it, loose in the box. Reyna tried to turn the ball, still loose, and put up and over the top.
Oh, he had a great chance to set up Marcelo Balboa. He had a great chance to set up. Instead, he did the awkward thing, which is to turn and get a shot on goal. Can't blame Reyna. He's expected to shoot on goal. But when you see the ball coming into Reyna here, when he gets to him, right there, here's Reyna winning it. But over here is Balboa. And that's where the ball should have gone.
Medford touches it back. Campos on the ball. Campos tees it up. And it whistles harmlessly wide to the left of Casey Keller. It's been tested once today. Keller having a fantastic season for Leicester City in the English Premiership. He has shut out Manchester United in a scoreless draw. He has shut out powerful, or beaten and shut out powerful Aston Villa this year.
Costa Rica now beginning to show a little bit more in the way of mixing it up, Bob, with sending a couple of more players forward. There are times I've looked out there and they've had 3 players up front. Gomez and Medford and Myers. And that's dangerous for the U.S., particularly if this man starts to go forward.
Reyna taken down and kicked behind the play. He is down, chipped on by Ramos, looking for Dooley in the box. Now Wegerle gathers it back in. Reyna is still down back in his own half of the field. Touched out by Wright. And now there'll be medical attention for Claudio Reyna, who is taken down behind that play as the U.S. moved up on attack. In the 16th minute of the second half here in Portland, Oregon.
Well, Reyna got a nasty whack on the ankle for his troubles, and he looks to be in serious discomfort down there. That is bad news indeed for the U.S. If he can't play. This is Reyna coming back with the ball. He's about to let it go. Now you see the late tackle there with the studs coming in, catching him on the side. That is a nasty one. As you take another look here, he's dribbling across nicely. Dooley releases to get him to get the ball, and over he goes from that very tough challenge. A late tackle. The referee did not call the foul. I could see the referee looking around and saying play on.
Card was shown, actually.
Good.
Guillen did receive a yellow card behind that play, so you've got to give a lot of credit, I would imagine, to the referee's assistant too, who was trailing that play, helping him out.
Well, the referee did the right thing, which is to let the play low and then go and get the yellow card in.
Tonight at 9 o'clock, 8 Central. There's never been anything like it on television before. Based on the bestseller, ABC News presents Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Find out things that you can do to save your relationships. It's at 9 Eastern and Pacific. So Guillen is shown the card, the first of the match, even though we had a little outbreak of tempers in the second half. Reyna, will he stay in? U.S. not about to make a substitution. Reyna has arguably been their best player today.
And that is often a reason why a player receives a tackle like that.
Well, he's risen to the challenge of creating and being near the ball, winning balls.
He looks still very, very uncomfortable out there, but play himself into it. He's had 44 touches on the ball today. Clearly nobody in this field has had the ball more than Reyna on either team.
Now Wegerle back for it. Thomas Dooley assessing his options. Looking for Lassiter to bring it down at the 18. There's Pope running on, but not able to save it.
Bob and Seamus, Costa Rica's been doing a great deal of defending in this half, and I'm starting to detect some signs perhaps of fatigue. It's a very strong sun here, and that's also something for Casey Keller to contend with in the U.S. goal. As the sun gets lower, that could present a problem for him.
That's a good point. That's one thing he doesn't see in England too much. He doesn't have to worry too much about the sun. It's that clouds and rain that drips in on you in the fall and the winter.
I wonder if they want to get him a baseball cap. I know in the qualifier in December against Costa Rica, Brad Friedel, who was in the nets for that match, had trouble early on, immediately went to the baseball cap. Ramos. Now Stewart touches it back. Claudio Reyna. Sorber looks down the middle of the attack. Balboa. Jafegus against Wallace with his right foot in front, looking for Lassiter. Pope comes up, still on it, but a whistle and a foul behind the play. Goal against Ramos.
Well, the crowd feel that was a little bit of play acting by the player Gomez, and the referee agrees. Tells him to get up. Yeah, you were fouled, but let's cut out the theater.
He has 4 goals in World Cup qualifying for Costa Rica. And he can be, in his own way, a lethal player for the Ticos. Wegerle challenging. Austin Berry. Roy Myers back. Mauricio Wright, number 4, looking for Medford. Reyna with some pressure from behind, squares it off right on to Myers, though. Dijen, number 8, plays it wide. There's Medford, watched by his shadow today, Balboa. Medford looking inside, picked off by Sorber with a long ball, sends Lassiter wide. Has to come back for it in space now. Sorber to Lassiter with Wegerle in the box, lays it back for Sorber. Ball just died in the turf and picked up by Campos.
Yeah, it was a poor pass from Lassiter, but a slow, late reaction by Sorber, who's jogging back very slowly. Sorber is really tired.
Also, he had a quadricep problem coming into this match. This portion of today's match brought to you commercial-free by Canon. You got to wonder if some decisions have been made in terms of substitutions for the U.S. Bobby Jones has the practice vest on.
I got to wonder if Sorber is struggling, if it might be time for Martin Vasquez to come in. He plays that position, but he may not want to get Mike Sorber out of there. He's such an important player.
Medford. Myers lays it back. That shot gobbled up by Casey Keller-Dijen from 20-plus yards. Burns has a practice vest on as well. Balboa, Keller out of trouble, but right back to Dijen, number 8, took that last shot. Ramos. And he'll do something with this. Balboa. There's a foul whistle. Keller on the restart. Reyna on the ball, and a whistle and a foul against the U.S. Ty Keogh.
Claudio Reyna still visibly limping as he tries to get back into position. Mike Burns, the fresh legs and the tackling ability to win balls in midfield may spring some attacks for the USA. So Burns will come on as Reyna will come off. A disappointed Claudio Reyna because the attack for the USA not able to bear fruit as of yet, and he was a key to that.
Well, the chess pieces get moved around a little bit now when you put a defender in, Mike Burns.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise to see Mike Burns coming in to play this position. He has played midfield and defense for the United States and for his club team, the New England Revolution. He is going back to right fullback.
Looked like Dooley moved up.
Looked like Dooley moved up, and Eddie Pope moved into the central defense. So the back 3 for the U.S. now is Burns on the right, Pope in the center, or Pope and Balboa are the other 2, and Dooley has moved into midfield.
Agus will drop back on the left side of midfield to a defending position.
And that was one of the reasons why Alexi Lalas was not picked today, was because in the situation where they had to move a player into midfield, they wanted to be Dooley, and Lalas obviously is not the kind of player who can go up and play midfield for them.
Also, Seamus, something that's going on here, a problem for the USA is that Roy Lassiter's been by himself all the time up top. Dooley can get up there and support him in a hurry.
Gomez with a push against Burns and whistled for it. Mike Burns just into the match. It's a tough man to cover one-on-one.
Yeah, Burns, he's really got to get into this game. It's very tough indeed, where everybody's been playing into the flow of it. At the best of times, it's hard to get into the game, but especially in a game like this where you got talented, quick players coming against you. Costa Rica got to feel that if they're patient, they might steal something here.
Berry. Balboa gets the touch. Back on. The Ticos in red, the USA in white. That spin move by Medford is pat the post-up move, if you will. Wins the foul against Balboa. Free kick Costa Rica.
A bit of an odd decision there. The referee very close to it. Obviously, he felt Balboa was doing something, but looked like his opponent was just simply plowing into him from this angle, but maybe not.
Gomez will tee it up. Three Ticos to the right of Casey Keller out by the 18. Medford makes a run now. Left foot rocket whistling wide by Gomez. Well, Costa Rica once again. A draw just peachy keen with them. 1 point, and they have done well for Coach Hernandez Fuertes today. Wegerle gets the touch off the defender Marine. Throw in U.S.
The report on Claudio Reyna's injury, a contusion to his ankle, not a sprain, but his right ankle bruised up on that tackle.
Wegerle takes that from Dooley, moves in, and the foul whistled. And they'll bring it back for the restart. Thomas Dooley moving up to midfield as Reyna came off. Burns went into the match. Michael Burns, captain of the New England Revolution. Thomas Dooley enjoying his career in Major League Soccer, playing very well with the Columbus Crew.
And Roy Wegerle, we just saw there, not simply having the pace and acceleration needed to get through. They may bring in another player for the United States.
Gomez with Burns. Taikio.
Kobe Jones preparing to enter the field for Roy Lassiter. And Jones obviously has exceptional speed, and with the tired defenders for Costa Rica, he could be the one to break through.
Well, if it is Lassiter, once again, not a 90-minute showing for Roy in the national colors. Kobe has that speed, blocked out there by Wegerle.
Well, Lassiter had a couple of good chances and a couple of good near goal where he needed to lay off good quality balls, and it just didn't happen. And another chance or two where he was in a great position to run through and he came in offside.
Tom Ramos wins that ball. Tom Ramos sends it.
Oh,
Lassiter in front. Lonis came out.
Surprising decision by Tab there to cut to his right when all the players were to the left.
Pope cuts that ball outside to Agus, who's up the wing. Thomas Dooley under some pressure. Wegerle with a touch. Costa Rica back on it. 27th minute of the second half. We await our first goal of the match. USA and Costa Rica. Very watched by Ramos. Gomez gets past Sorber without effort. That ball glued to his foot, and finally Burns runs him off, and Keller puts it out. Gomez just steamed right past Mike Sorber.
Got past Mike Sorber, but Mike Sorber was covered well behind with Burns and Pope getting into position.
Ramos still on the ball. Play on, says our referee. Ernie Stewart. Now Mike Burns making a run behind him. Michael Burns. Low crossing ball. Mauricio Wright took it right away from Burns, but not able to save it.
Boy, the poor crossing has really murdered the U.S. here today. They've just been their own worst enemies when it's come to quality balls from the right and left side. A terrific run by Burns, but the finish just wasn't there.
Kobe Jones will report on. Lassiter. He's handed him his substitution pass. Jones will come on. Lassiter will come off. You can see the emotion evident in Lassiter, who did not know until 20 minutes before this game that he would be starting. And Preki will also be coming on for Roy Wegerle. So that'll be made perhaps at the next break in action. A double dose of adrenaline for the United States offense. And frankly, they need it right now as Jones comes on.
Well, two totally different players, Preki and Jones. They couldn't be more dissimilar as attacking players. Preki, who loves to cut and do quick 1-2s with people, and has a very lethal left foot. And Jones is just blazing speed down the right side. Nobody ever accused Preki of being that fast. He's getting on.
Well, Steve Sampson has pushed all his chips now out onto the center of the table. Made all three substitutions. Wegerle's out. Burns will throw it in.
You see Dooley trying to get some space at the near post here. This is where Dooley wants to be if they can get the throw to him.
Looking for Dooley for the flick on. And a corner kick.
Well, they did well to get it to him. It's a good throw in by Burns. Now here's where the U.S. has looked strong.
Preki will take the corner kick now. Dooley goes to his spot on the 6. Eddie Pope moves up as well. They're the first line of attack on a set piece for the U.S. at the 6-yard box.
And here's one, and they're out here on the extreme right. You can see not Winalda, I wish it were.
Kobe Jones.
But Kobe Jones and also Balboa.
Substitution to be made for Costa Rica as Yafet Soto, number 16, will come on, and Hernan Medford leads. Soto, a player possessing tremendous speed. Medford, a very dangerous player. That young man, who is only 21, beat the U.S. 2 years ago in the 89th minute of a match with his speed. Preki's corner, far post. Balboa tangling with Lonis, and it'll be
goal kick.
Goal kick.
A little bit of a change of pace there for the U.S. Instead of playing the ball into the 6-yard or to the near post, they went to the far post to that man Balboa, who did well to go up in the air and challenge Lonis, not give him a free catch or a free punch, and in the end claimed it carried off his head.
This portion of today's match brought to you commercial free by Nike. Well, the United States needs 3 points. To get that now basically would need 1 goal because the time frame is compressing. They've made their substitutions. They have offense in mind when they made them. Soto in, Medford out for the Ticos. The nickname for Costa Rica. Now the Yanks on the ball. Ramos. Dooley past him. Still loose though as it's chased down by Marine. Ahead there by Preki with his positional play. Throw in Costa Rica.
Well, with these new players in the game, they got to get the ball to them. Preki certainly needs to get the ball at his feet because he is so good dribbling, particularly right to left. And Jones has got to get the ball for some speed, either to his feet or to run in behind the defense.
Looping throw in.
They've got to give some credit to the Costa Rican defenders here. They've looked very solid in the second half. They've been much more cohesive in their defensive play, and they're playing, of course, now with more players at the back.
Agus. Ernie Stewart against Madrigal. Down.
It's got to be a card. He was all over him to begin with, and then when Stewart finally got away from him, he chopped him.
And he's going in the book. Yellow card caution to Alex Madrigal.
Well, Stewart does very well holding the ball here. He's cutting across the player, keeping the ball away from him. But look, he's assaulting him with his arms and pulling his shirt and everything else. And eventually, just he's about to get away, the tackle from the left side that was nowhere near the ball, and hence the yellow card. Again, good decision by referee Nieves.
77th minute. Goose. His far post. Preki. The cross knotted out into Sam's Army.
Boy, Costa Rica just getting away with all kinds of mistakes on these set pieces.
Brecky to take the corner. Balboa back post. Looking for Stewart. Gets a touch. He'll chase it down. Now Brecky on his patented left foot. Cuts it back to his right with a low cross in front. Balboa plays it back to Sean Ramos. Goal! A storybook return to qualification late in the match.
What a shot by Tab Ramos, and what great play by Brecky. Brecky, who did that fabulous fake and then had to use his right foot, which is not his favorite, but eventually it was laid off to this man, Tab Ramos, and what a comeback for Tab. Look at all the work done down here by Brecky, and here's the ball nicely laid back right into the stride. Balboa lays it back, and boom! This thing goes into the bottom corner. A cracking shot by Tab Ramos. Great play again as it's laid back by Balboa unselfishly, and then this tremendous shot through the crowd of players buried in the bottom corner. Here's the keeper's view, but he has no chance to get to this excellent piece of finishing by Tab Ramos. Welcome back, Tab.
Tabaret. He said, I would sit at home and watch the qualifiers I couldn't play in and feel the frustration because I knew what I was watching would affect my life and my career, but I couldn't do anything about it. Today, he was able to do something about it.
Well, we all said how important he was to come back, and this man, Brecky, boy, what a great contribution he has made.
Look at that.
And now, cheerleading Coach Sampson to get the team back here, and
substitution for Costa Rica.
U.S. got to be very composed now. They got about 10 minutes to go, and this is when Costa Rica is going to throw everything at them. So the U.S. will want to try to win the ball and hold on to it as much as possible.
U.S. soccer has waited years to have a venue, to have an atmosphere and a game of importance all come together like today, and now with a 1-0 lead, and it's not over. Steve Sampson asking for more support from this crowd.
Well, look at this shot. Perfectly placed, bottom into the corner. The keeper may have got a little bit of a touch on it, but great job by Tab Ramos.
Pope tries to clear it. Now the U.S. with the lead, hoping for the 3 points. Ronald Gomez and referee Jose Luis Nieves with words, and Senor Nieves has heard enough. Brecky, who had almost fallen out of favor for the national team because of his attitude, and that came around over the summer. He told Steve Sampson, I will play whatever role you ask me to play.
Boy, and he couldn't have played a better role than that one. He is so hungry to play in the World Cup. He grew up in Yugoslavia. He never got a chance to play there. So much competition. Comes to America, finally gets his U.S. citizenship. Now he's going to go to the big show, he hopes. And a game like this, a win like this today will go a long way towards helping him do that.
And the atmosphere, when you saw Steve Sampson waving that towel as Brecky's back on the ball, so many times the U.S. would go on the road in qualification to Costa Rica, to Guatemala, to El Salvador, and face hostile crowds simply just like this, rooting their national team on. When the U.S. would play at home, a lot of fans for the visiting team because of the ethnicity of the United States, the melting pot. Well, today, fans of all stripes here, but all rooting for the U.S. It's not over. It's 1-0.
It's not over. They've got to hold their composure and keep possession. And Mike Sorber just gave the ball up there in midfield.
Soto, very dangerous, very speedy young player, back on the ball against Burns. Soto looking to cross. Burns deflects. Won by Jones. Looks to clear.
Goal kick.
As it deflected out off Victor Badia, who went into the match as a substitute for Austin Berry. Badia, number 13 in red.
And the coach is on the sideline for Costa Rica saying, everybody forward. We don't need to have 4 at the back now. We want to have 3 up front. And they do have 3 up front. Soto is up there, along with Myers and Gomez. Mauricio
Wright gets ahead. There's Badia, number 13. Marine from central defense, given trouble by Sorber.
Well, Sorber did a good job just making them play square. Mike Sorber's got to be exhausted.
Right with the ball. Tangling there, Balboa, and his opposite number, Gomez.
Well,
Bedford out of the match. Balboa, primary man marker now. Free kick, Costa Rica.
Dangerous run by Gomez getting inside. Eddie Pope. Pope made the foul.
Ronald Gomez near the ball. Harold Wallace, number 2, to the right of the ball. Campos trots up, number 14. Will Wallace touch it to Gomez? Will Wallace shoot around the wall? Gomez deflected by the wall. Throw in Costa Rica.
Well, U.S. fans don't care how ugly it is from here on. They just want to see, they'll be happy with 1-0.
Soto, double team. Wallace plays it back. Ticos have pushed everybody up. Wallace deflected. Soto on the ball. Picked up by Agus. Dispossessed by Preki.
Actually, that was Sorber.
Sorber, rather.
Great job of going up there late in the game as a second defender. And a yellow card to Soto.
Soto said something in the 85th minute, so the third card of the match against Costa Rica. These cards add up. If you get 2 yellows, you must sit out. That's the reason John Harkes is not playing today for the United States.
World Cup games. This is what it's all about. Hanging on 1-0 with 5.5 to go.
Bicycled on. Far post. That's out.
Ooh.
Nice attempt there by Roy Myers.
Tremendous attempt by Roy Myers, and almost caught the U.S. at the far post napping with a couple of players pretty wide open, as we'll see on this replay. This is a great piece of skill, but the danger is on the far side of the goal, as you'll see him flick it over. Look at these players in here. And the U.S. Gets away with one there.
Steve Sampson here on the bench instructing his players, and Preki in particular, to get the ball into the corners and then maintain some possession and get some more players forward. You can't continue to defend. Eventually you may break down.
Pope comes through, wins that ball. Goose sends it down to burn some off the clock. This portion of today's match is brought to you commercial-free by National Car Rental. Dooley couldn't win it in the air. Soto. Kobe Jones looking to win it with a second touch. Preki challenging. Cut in by Badia. Here's Soto slipping on the turf. Burns looking to win the ball and putting it out. 4 minutes plus injury time. Jamaica leading Canada 1-0. Also in CONCACAF qualifying today. That is in the second half in Kingston, Jamaica.
Jamaica, the next opponent for the U.S.
Soto, bad first touch, taken off his foot. Sorber and cleared by Kobe Jones. Steve Sampson, you can see him gesturing. Put it inside. Jones took a shot to the nose, some blood.
Well,
got a pack up the nose.
We got to get into the corners, as he said, and Jones had a chance to do that then, but just mishit it. So tense moments here for the U.S. Costa Rica throwing everything at them.
So if you're new to the game, yes, it's a 45-minute running time half, but the referee adds time at his discretion for any stoppages for injuries along the way and substitutions. We've had a lot of substitutions in the second half and some injuries. Bijan, number 8. One on the shot by Campos, deflected, knotted back down. Agus clears it, controlled by Stewart. U.S. needs to get the ball and hold the ball.
Or else get it really far down into the corners, as you heard Taikio say.
Sorber.
Now's a chance to put it over here to Kobe Jones.
And a whistle behind the play. There was a foul, and so a restart for the U.S.
Well, Costa Rica has come here and battled very hard, hoping to get a point. And with 2.5 minutes to go, that hope not entirely evaporated yet.
This has truly ripened into a marvelous rivalry between these two countries. It's up there with USA-Mexico now. Two worthy opponents. Mutual respect, a little bit of ill will here and there, but great soccer. Agus against Wallace. Pair of backs. Goose pushing up into midfield today. Throw in for Costa Rica. Nope, U.S. Tico's tried to steal that one. Goose sent it into the corner to Stewart. Watched by Madrigal. Being essentially triple team playing for the corner. Ernie, Jeff Agus still on it. Looks for Stewart. Well, Wallace is on it.
Yep, they tried to put it in the corner. They got it there for 20 seconds.
Brecky challenging defensively as Myers sends it over the signage well to the far side over touch. Brecky, Predrag Radosavljevic, naturalized U.S. citizen since late last year, now a member of the U.S. national team, and one of the assists today on Tom Ramos' goal.
Well, you see there, 43-45, minute and a quarter to go. Plus, I think there will be a few minutes added on for some of the injury treatment that was treatment for some of the injured players that was necessary.
Marine challenged by Brecky. Fighting for every ball.
Brecky's got to fight defensively now. Not his normal type of game.
Campos, number 14, gets it past Sorber. Slide by Ramos there, and Balboa to Goose. Pair of U.S. players unmarked on the right side. Here comes Brecky. He's got Jones coming down the middle. On the far post, he's got Stewart. Brecky with a lethal left foot, just whistling wide.
Well, you know that's what Brecky loves to do. He loves to motor down the right side, fake that little right shoulder, cut inside with the left, and then hammer it for the far corner. He almost scored in his first appearance for the United States. I think it was against Guatemala in that way, and this time he was very close to icing this game. You can see we're just at the 45-minute mark now, so we're about to go into time added on for injury treatment.
So that is known only to our referee, Senor Nieves from Uruguay. Myers still fighting with Brecky for the ball. Burns is there, touched in. Badia on the ball. Kobe Jones wins it, sends it up the wing. Brecky sends it inside. Mauricio Wright on the ball, watched by Ramos. Mauricio Wright, lots of space, closed down by Sorber. Little 1-2 at the edge of the area, broken up by Burns. And now Brecky does not clear the ball. U.S. having trouble getting it out, and finally a whistle against Costa Rica. Foul against Campos.
Studs up against Campos, coming in tight. Costa Rica unhappy with the referee with some of these calls, but I don't think either side can complain about the quality of the officiating today.
Seamus, the tension palpable here on the bench. Steve Sampson very disappointed in Brecky for trying for another goal when really he wanted him to take the ball into the corner and eat up as much of the clock as possible.
Dooley's ball. That's it. 3 points.
Well, these are the kind of games you've got to win. You simply got to win these home games. And if it takes a 1-0 and then just defending like crazy, that's what the World Cup is all about. They do not come easy. And the U.S. battled and got a classic goal from the best midfield player this country's ever produced, Tab Ramos.
Storybook return to the national side in front of a sellout crowd at Portland Civic Stadium in a match that was labeled must win. And the thank you from these men who rarely have support like this. The United States in the second place now in their qualifying group. They play Jamaica next month. A victory there would get their toe across the English Channel within sight of the French coast, you'd have to say.
Costa Rica now has to go to Jamaica next Sunday. But Costa Rica's in all kinds of problems. But they did well here. Costa Rica deserves a lot of credit for what they were able to accomplish for all but 10 minutes.
These players don't want to leave. To savor the victory, the 3 points, the atmosphere, the weather, the moment, and rising to the challenge.
And what a goal, Bob. I mean, so many times the ball is played out like that, you have a great chance to score, and it just doesn't go. But my goodness, Tab Ramos said, oh, this is what I've been waiting 9 months for. And he just let it rip. It was a beautiful goal from beginning to end.
Ty Keogh has a very happy Steve Sampson.
A euphoric mood here in the stadium on the bench. You guys just went crazy.
Euphoria is absolutely the perfect word for it. Boys played great. We controlled the entire match. Great goal by Tab Ramos, created by Preki. I don't even know who laid the ball back to him.
It was Cello.
Cello, what a great ball laid back to him. Tremendous finish. I'm so proud of these guys.
What about the substitutions? Did it really play into it?
Of course it did. You know, I'm so proud of the guys that came on. You know, losing Claudio was a big loss for us. Julie stepping in the midfield did a great job. Burns came in the outside back. Kobe covering the flank. Ernie Stewart going up top and giving us the width and mobility up there.
Preki started the goal.
Preki started the goal. It was just cut back to his right foot, if you can believe that. And the ball played back, I guess, to Cello, and Cello laid back to Ramos.
The stadium's still here electric. Sam's Army helped you, didn't they?
Sam's Army helped us, but the entire city of Portland, they should be very proud of their efforts. This is a phenomenal crowd.
All the way to France?
Well, look, you know, we're going to enjoy this moment. The Jamaica match is just as important as this one. We win that, we're on our way.
All right, good luck, Steve. Thank you very much. Back up to you, Bob.
What a scene. Well, his coach didn't realize he had the assist, but Marcelo Balboa laid it back to Tom Ramos. The goal that won the match. Casey Keller, the captain today in a homecoming. Preki picks up the assist. And Tom Ramos back in a qualification match for the first time since last November.
Well, there's the cutback, the traditional cutback by Preki, but it goes to his right foot. And now look at this nice soft touch back by Balboa. He lays it right into the stride, and then a 25-yard screamer from Tab Ramos. Tremendous goal.
The U.S. with a victory. We have so much more to tell you about. The team's not leaving. The crowd is not leaving. We've got more from Portland after this message and a word from our ABC stations.